unmuting and let Lindy, do you mind unmuting and letting us know what has brought you to ToastEd this evening?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lindelwa. I am Sally's friend. We work together in the same office. So I just came in today to join you guys to support her on her speech today.
Fabulous. And are you from the Grove Toastmasters?
Yes, I am.
Did you visit us before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. Well, welcome back. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. And then, Nilo, we see your face again. We're sad to not see it in person. How are you?
Greetings. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
I am doing well today. I wish I could manage to be in person, but here I am because I was not off a bit late.
That's okay.
And it's good to be back. It's been a while since I visited this meeting, but I am happy to be back.
Great. We love having you back. So thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. And then just a big welcome to our members online. I see Catherine, I see Nina. Hello, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. And now to our lovely guests in the room. So we're going to start with Rahima. Do you mind sharing quickly with us what has brought you to Toastmasters besides Shifa? Is she dragging you? Okay, so Shifa has told you this is an amazing place. Come and learn, come and listen. Okay, great. Okay, thank you for joining us. Lovely to have you. And then Lame, I mean, you are one of our celebrity Toastmasters. I know you're here just for this week, but would you like to share with us your journey in Toastmasters or what has brought you here this evening? Oh, you also were dragged. Okay, so Granny B has brought you along. So then I'll go to Granny B, our lovely district director, 0074. So lovely to have you.
I will just say good evening. I am from Namibia, the oldest desert in the world, and you get Toastmasters too. And some of them, I said the ranks. So it sounded like I brought her here, but she's our division director from the Cape, and she has come to meet all of you. She is from Botswana, and that's who we are. Our journey in Toastmasters, I started in 2001. So maybe you'll think, she's a slow learner. She's so good. I'm telling you, there's so much to learn. Dig in and you'll find out.
Oh, thank you. So lovely. And then Ishe, that's another member or another guest that has visited us online quite a few times, not in person yet.
Just once in person.
Oh, once in person, my apologies. What has brought you back? You keep coming back. So tell us, what has brought you back?
So I quite enjoy the Toastmaster session, but I was trying to set up a club to join. I visited another as well.
Okay.
So just in that good space. But, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I would love to hear in the break or afterwards some feedback as to what you've learned from other Toastmasters clubs so that we can maybe incorporate something. It's all about learning. So thank you. Thanks, Isha. Lovely to have you again. And then Anna, hi, welcome. Hi. What has brought you to Toastmasters this evening?
Actually, just to get over my anxiety to speak in public.
Okay. This is what I think we all join Toastmasters for. But you sound very confident while you're speaking. But we'll see how things go in the evening. Great, thank you so much. Great to have you. And that's, oh, and then Louise, an old member, has joined us. A past member, not physically old. Welcome, it's nice to see you back. What's brought you back?
It's lovely to be back. Well, I haven't been for 6 months, so it's just been an old friend.
Yeah.
And see how it's going. No, just be part of the real world, I suppose.
Yeah.
See how we're supposed to do this.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Nice to have you. To all of our guests online and in person, thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us this evening. And we hope that you have a lovely evening with us. I'd like to now hand over to our wonderful Vice President of Membership to come and do Eugene's induction, and I'd like to also please invite his mentor, Andrea, to come up so we can induct him.
Great.
Thank you.
I must come a little bit closer. Leave me alone. I must first say something. For me, as the Vice President of Membership, trying to hunt down new members, if you don't have to do that, because people are steady, people are interested, like, for example, our Alex has come like that, and Eugene as well. You write to them, would you like to be invited again? Absolutely sure. They respond immediately, they are there, they're interested. It is such a joy. It's joy to have with everybody contact. But if you are responsible for getting new members in and they come by themselves, then it speaks for the club. It speaks for all of you for hosting our club in such a lovely way. And it speaks for the person as well. So Eugene, it's wonderful to have you. Let me give you a little rundown or run up. You always ask for a CV. And I love what Eugene sent to me. If you told Eugene 5 years ago that he would be a Toastmaster member today, he would laugh in your face because I am extreme introvert. I don't like public speaking and socializing and any form of public visibility where I have panic attacks, inducing situations, inducing situations in any case, but with a touch of delusion and a whole lot of determination, he's embarked on a journey to conquer his fears.
Yes.
So, Eugene was born and raised in Accra, Ghana. Eugene comes from a family of bankers who instilled in him a strong work ethic. Yes, we can already agree to that. This foundation propelled him to build a successful career as a marketing manager for a London-based finance brokerage. He is here today as a Toastmaster, as a member, eager to learn and grow, and committed to transforming himself into a confident and compelling speaker. Hooray! Yes. As we always have this little kind of ceremony, we don't exchange rings, but heart to heart, palpitations, how do you say that? Palpitations or palpitations. Okay, to be a member in Toastmasters is a privilege. And the only way to gain the benefits of the program is to actively participate. Do you, Eugene, promise to be an active member of this club?
I do.
Will you attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your duties? Wonderful. Then we keep it short and sweet. And so the next thing is I ask all of you, do you, the members of ToastEd, promise to support Eugene as he works through the Toastmaster program to provide him with positive, helpful evaluations to make his membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience in his quest for self-development? So if so, please say yes, and a standing ovation to welcome him.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, it's not over because you always get a mentor. As you know, that for the first level, you can choose somebody or we delegate somebody, depending what you want, who is with you to guide you, to look at your speeches, you can talk to, advise, whatever you need. And Andrea Batista is so kind, and Eugene has chosen her. They walk the first level together. So good luck to the two of you.
I am looking forward to hearing Eugene's first icebreaker.
He reached out to me and he says, he's gonna try it for next
Next
meeting,
meeting.
so I'm holding him to it, it's a big step. But you've taken it, and I'm honored to be on Eugene, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. And Eugene, welcome officially after all those times that you visited us.
I didn't promise.
You did. We're excited to see your journey in our Toastmasters group. And then I just wanted to quickly acknowledge Shifa, because Shifa, you also were a member and now a fellow Toastmaster visiting us. So welcome. Thank you for coming. And Libby, who also is a member, but we never get to see in person and is here in person. So welcome. We usually just have you online. It's lovely to have you. I have these Present with Power books written by Verity Price. They are on sale for 120 Rand if you've got cash and you'd like to buy one. They are fabulous to help you if you are evaluating. You can check anything in here. It's a learn by doing book. So there's actually, there's one right here. After each chapter, there are sort of worksheets at the back so that you can fill in and you can work. You probably can photocopy so they're not actually writing in your book. But it's lovely to help you write a speech, present with power, how to stand in front of an audience, all the tips and tricks. So if you'd like to buy one, please have a look at them at the interval. And then the other thing I'd like to talk about, I just need to find pencils before we write on it. I think we've got pencils, Chantal. We have our tree of intentions, and it is our new Toastmasters year. So I ask you all of our members to think of an intention that you would like to set for this year and write it on the tree with your name. And then what we're meant to do, so we need to remember, at the end of the Toastmasters year is to have a look at everyone's intention and see if they've achieved it. And if they haven't achieved it, that's okay. We can figure out how we can help them achieve it. So I'll ask you to do that in the interval too. It's quite a busy interval, but you've got this. Okay, then we have some fabulous awards. And the one award that was delivered recently is this beautiful ribbon, and it is for the President's Distinguished Club. And that means with all of your help by achieving and going through the levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and completing it, we reached all of our goals and we received this beautiful ribbon. So this, I think, goes on our banner.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can eventually put one on a banner. And I think we will receive another one. So we'll have another one for the last year that we had, because this is 2022 to 2023. So I thank you all. You are amazing for taking the leap, taking on speeches, and just presenting with power. So thank you to all of you. And now we have some really exciting awards for these members, that some of them have completed levels to help us achieve that beautiful distinguished club. So I'm going to start. Sally, will you be on photographer duty, please? I would like to welcome our wonderful Vice President of Education for his level 2 competition. It doesn't look like it's my award. Sure, you're so forward. Okay, well done. And then we have got Chantal Feet, who completed her level 2. Chantal. Sorry, sorry, I'm a shortcut. Be careful of that. Cable central over there. Here we go. Congratulations. Hold it, sorry. Hold it straight. You want to hold it. Another one. Thank you, photographer. And then we have got Lawrence. I'm going to call you up, like just at the same time, I think, because we've got 2. So we've got our wonderful Lawrence, who is our evaluation champion. He completed his level 3 and level 4. And here's the level 3.
Maybe we do two photos.
Nobody can read it.
And then we have got our wonderful Gabrielle for her level 4.
Thank you, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Hard
Thank
earned,
you.
hard earned.
What is yours?
Do we need to cut in as well?
Yeah.
One more. Thank you, thank you.
And then last but not least, we welcome Blair. Oh, her completion of level 4.
Yes, that's good. Yes. Digital award. So lovely.
Oh, okay. We're all of you not normal. Oh, yeah. We might include the following at the end. Congratulations to all of you completing your levels. And now I would like to ask you to we all have something in a glass of some sort. And everyone online, have you got something in your glass of some sort? And I ask you to all stand. For those online, please unmute yourselves. And we raise our glasses to South Africa and all her speakers. To South Africa and all her speakers. Hmm. I now have the privilege and the honor to hand over to our fabulous Toastmaster of the evening, who is sort of the MC of the night for the guests that haven't come to Toastmasters before. He will help ensure that the meeting runs smoothly, introducing the role players for the evening, introducing the speakers, and that is our fabulous Sean. Sean, thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, good luck.
Good evening, everybody. So, at Toastmasters, you would have seen we were clapping quite a lot. And just to put you at ease, that's something that you do in Toastmasters. It's an important part of how we connect with each other and how we embrace people into this fold. So when you see people clapping, that's just part of what we do. So more about the evening. So there are 3 roles that we have. There is an unarmed counter, there's a grammarian, and there's a timer. And then we have an interesting thing tonight that we're doing is we're having an educational piece around how to do an evaluation. It's just something that we bring into it because it allows people to learn more about Toastmasters and just what those roles are. Because you're going to want to do evaluations at some stage. So it's an important teaching thing which we're going to introduce going forward every session that we have. Then we have 3 speeches tonight, and we have 3 evaluations. And what we're also having as well is our general evaluation, where we're having Lowlands give us a view of the whole evening, because it allows us just to be able to shape the evening, and be able to learn more about what we can do better. So the first role that I have tonight is the unarmed counter with Mina Mahankmur. So Mina, you're online. And, before I do that, one second. I want to talk about digital wellness. Okay. So I just want to say something about I come out of a company, right? And one of the things that always struck me is that how much time people actually spend on their mobile phones and devices. And in my company, I actually set up rules around that because I realized how unwell people were by having these devices as an addiction. Do you know that South Africa the average person in South Africa spends more than 5 hours a day on their cell phone? And guess when the most of the time is? During the week, not weekends. So detoxing, a digital detox is actually quite an important thing. And what I introduced in my company, which was very controversial at the time, people didn't like it, is you weren't allowed to have your cell phone on your desk. It had to be in the drawer. And while you were at work, you focused on your work, because we become what they call the distracted generation. We don't actually concentrate. We don't look at someone long enough to actually engage, because this device gets in the way. And the problem with it is, and why social media works so well, is it's addictive. Because when you post something, you're waiting for a response. You don't post to say something, you post to receive something. So it's a loop that we're in. And you know what they say is that either you are giving the advertising, or you are the advertising. And that's the problem with digital media, is they've put us in a trap. These cell phones have trapped us. So one of the things you could do is you could take a Sunday where you don't put your cell phone on at all. I've got a friend that does that. If I phone her on a Sunday, you ain't going to get hold of her. She's done. She's out. And so digital detoxing and digital wellness are two sides of a coin. So that's what I would want to share with you tonight about that. Okay. So Nina, would you like to introduce your role, please?
With pleasure, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. As your counter for this evening, I will take note of words and sounds that are used as crutch or as pause fillers by anyone who speaks during the course of the meeting. It could be words like air, or repeated words like and, well, etc., etc. And I will present my report at the end of the meeting when called upon by Toastmaster of the Day. With that, while you are taking a pause, remember you are reducing your filler words. Pause when you have too many thoughts, put your thoughts in place, and express and enjoy speaking during the meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
So the next role is a timekeeper. And Alanda is the timekeeper, but he's going to be late. So, okay, so if I could just give you a brief about the timekeeper role. So there are, in the time speeches, there are 5 minutes is the green card, 6 minutes is the yellow card, and 7 minutes is the red card. In professional speaking, when you go into competition speaking, at 7 minutes and 31 seconds, you actually get cancelled out of the talk. So timekeeping is actually very important. So what you're learning in Toastmasters is just to be able to manage your time, because stealing more time than you've got is actually taking time away from the evening. So that's why we manage the time. But for here, people can go over. So then we have the table topics, which is a nice impromptu evening about being able to just get people who haven't prepared a speech to give a speech. And there we have 2 minutes is the green card, 2 minutes 30 is the yellow card, and 3 minutes being the red card. And we've got an educational piece that we've got first, so don't worry. I think our timer will be back in time, but if he isn't, I have my trusty steed. I've got a backup plan. All right. And then we have the grammarian role, and that's also a role that changed on the turn tonight. So let me just check who we have as our grammarian, and it's Tabang Redmond. So Tabang,
Yeah.
thank you. Come up to Tabang. Thanks for taking the role at the last minute.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is compelling. Compelling, which means evoking interest, attention, or admiration in a powerfully irresistible way. For example, you could use this in a sentence. My example would be, Sean's introduction to digital wellness was quite compelling. In fact, making me want to not use the cell phone. However, I need it as a tool tonight. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I'll give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting, and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr.
So now we would like to introduce you to the training piece that we're going to have. So this is something that Verity has put together, which is actually really useful, you know, besides the books that Verity has. I mean, she is, you know, she's won Toastmasters internationally, so there's so much that we can learn just by having people like that feed information to us, that we can become better in Toastmasters. So I hand over to the evaluation process training, is it? Okay, thank you.
There's three things that can happen when you're doing an evaluation. You can either elevate someone's abilities with the feedback you can give them, you can equalize their abilities with the feedback you give them, or you can eliminate their abilities with the feedback you give them. And in the 9 years that I've been a Toastmaster, I've been fortunate to see many evaluations that elevate the speaker. Unfortunately, I've seen more than I would like that just kind of equalize and leave the speaker exactly where they were before they did their speech. And the saddest moments are where I've seen an evaluation that has eliminated someone's ability. It's decimated their confidence. It's made, in fact, when Westlake first started, and Ashley might remember this as one of our founding members, we had an experienced Toastmaster give a new member feedback in such a way that that member never came back to Toastmasters. It wasn't that evaluator's intention to do that. He just delivered the feedback in such a way that it landed really, really badly. So when we're giving feedback, we want to elevate someone. We want to make sure they leave with tools that are going to help them become a better speaker. We don't want to equalize them. We don't want to give them feedback that is basically repeating back the speech they've said and leaving them with nothing to improve on. So we don't want to, we call it whitewashing. Sometimes this was nice, that was nice, but we don't help them grow. So what I want to talk to you today about is how do we elevate someone when we give evaluations? And what's beautiful is there's the formula. It works really well. It works well for club meetings. It works brilliantly in contests. And it's very easy to apply. So I'm going to take you through it, and hopefully when you walk away with this, you're going to have a little framework that you can use to always give winning evaluations that make a difference. So let's have a look at what happens in an evaluation. So when you are listening to a speaker and you're going to give them feedback, there's things that you're going to be wanting to look out for. Obviously, depending where they are in their Toastmasters journey, you might be looking for less. As they become more accomplished as a speaker, you're going to be looking for more of these things. But in general, these are the kind of elements that you would be looking for. So always only evaluate what their project requires. If it's a speech at a club level, always only what are they trying to do, evaluate that. Don't evaluate them for skills they haven't learned yet. Then you might want to look at their structure. So do they have a powerful opening and a great conclusion? Is their body clear? Was it easy to follow? So pay attention. Did they grab your attention at the beginning of their speech? Did they really end on a powerful note? So really look at that, because if they didn't, you can also give them feedback on that. Then look for their message. So this is a very powerful thing to help a speaker become better. If their message is convoluted and you weren't quite sure what they were saying, you can give them feedback on it. Or if it was clear, like you could sum up their message in 10 words or less, like, thank you for reminding us to always believe in ourselves and never take no for an answer. If that was their message, you should be able to reflect that back in your evaluation. So look for their message, and also look for the general purpose of their speech. Was it an entertaining speech? Was it an informative speech? Was it a educational speech? Did it motivate you? Did it persuade you? And you should be able to then say, thank you for such a persuasive speech, or thank you for entertaining us in such an inspiring way. It actually gives you a lovely lead in to giving your feedback. So really pay attention to your the speech and the message. Then you can look for gestures. You know, there's so much here. Their body language, their eye contact. Back in the day when we were using the stage, how did they use the stage? But now, how did they use the screen? Did they start over here and move here with their hands? Did it help you follow their message a little bit more powerfully? So look at those gestures, because you can always give beautiful improvement there if you notice that something with their hands might have made their speech more powerful. So look at that. Then another area that we can pay a lot of attention to when we're listening to speeches is the language. Did they use metaphors or similes or repetition? And for our counter, I'm talking about the good repetition, where they came back to an idea and they repeated it a few times to embed the message. Did they use stories effectively? So here you might be paying attention to, they're here doing a story, they're talking about their grandmother, but they didn't describe her. They could have said, you know, she was an old battle axe. You know, when she came into the room, we all sat up straight. One sentence would give way more insight into that personality than just saying, you know, I used to be scared of my gran. So really look at, could they have used language more effectively? Or if they did use language, give them feedback on that and say, I loved your metaphors. I loved how you used repetition. So pay attention to language. Our next area that we look at in speeches is voice. You know, do they have good pitch? Are they kind of changing their pitch, getting higher, getting lower to create drama, to create tension? Are they using their volume to good effect? Is it loud enough? Are there times when maybe they could have been a bit quieter to grab our attention? What's their timing and their pace like? Are they using pauses? If they're doing a conversation between people, did they characterize it? Did they suddenly get another voice to give some more energy to the speech? So again, just looking at how they're using their voice might give you a whole area of their speech that you could help improve or that you could really commend them on. And then the last one to look out for, which is always critical, is their delivery. You know, what kind of humor did they bring? Were they authentic? Was there passion? And again, you want to elevate that in someone. You want to point it out if they've done it well, or you want to give them suggestions on how they could do it better. So these are the things you're looking at when you're listening to a speech. And I know that's a lot, but this is also the self-reflection that Ashley was talking about, is, you know, when you're writing a speech, you're wanting all of this to be in your speech. So when we give someone feedback and we evaluate their speech, we're learning ourselves. So pay attention to all of these, because we're noticing it. You know, we all have a reaction to a presentation, and it's based on these criteria. So that's the criteria to look at. I will send you a PDF with all of this after the meeting, so you don't have to stress. Now let's look at, how do you deliver the feedback? You've heard all of this, you've been writing notes crazily. What's the best way to deliver the feedback that's going to elevate your speaker? So I call it the hamburger evaluation. Some people call it the feedback sandwich, but I've loved this picture of a hamburger, so that's what we're going with. So the first thing that matters, and people often forget this when they're doing an evaluation, is you are still doing a speech. You have 3 minutes to present. So you need an introduction, and you need to grab our attention with your introduction. But it's not about you, it's about the speaker. So grab our attention with an introduction that's related to their speech. Even if it's to say, thank you for persuading us to never use single-use plastic again. You've got our attention, it's clear you listened. But I find if I listen to the speaker's speech, I'll often find little nuggets, a quote that they used, and I just make a quick note. I'm going to use that in my introduction. Grab our attention with your introduction. Now we get into the meat of your introduction, which is kind of really what you want to sink your teeth into. And there's a very clear formula and format for this. Always start with their strengths and what they've done well. Give them specific examples. If they had humor, give examples of humor from their speech. If they had great language, give an example. So find at least 3 to 4 strengths that you can comment on. Then move on to, let's call it areas of improvement rather than weaknesses. And here it's gentle language. I noticed that your eye contact wasn't as good as it could have been. Or I seem to feel that when you got to the technical part of your speech, you started reading. Whatever it is that you noticed that they did wrong, speak from a subjective point of view. This is just my opinion, but these are the things I noticed. And then move to suggestions. So something that'll help you get better with your eye contact is maybe just look in the middle of people's foreheads, or look straight at your camera, because, you know, at the moment, obviously we're we're on Zoom, but give them specific recommendations that are going to help them improve. And then very importantly, once you've given them their strengths, their areas to improve, and your suggestions, summarize what you've said. So now you want to say, so, you know, kind of bringing this all together, remember to work on these 3 things, but please keep up these amazing strengths. And that helps the speaker kind of solidify everything you've just told them. But that's not where you finish. You have to finish with a conclusion. You need a powerful conclusion that brings it all together, that leaves them on a high, and is somehow related to their speech. Again, they are going to have given this to you in their presentation. So if you're paying attention and they make a funny comment or they say something about an aspiration that they have, quickly jot that down, as that's how I'm going to conclude with, you know, never stop dreaming, keep reaching for that degree, or whatever it is that they've shared in their speech. So the speaker is going to give it all to you. They're going to give you the content. They're going to give you all that criteria you're looking for. They're either going to have lots of it in their speech, or they're going to be missing some of it, which is going to give you room to tell them what they've done well, to look at what they could improve, give them suggestions, and then summarize what you've said. But they're also going to be giving you the content for how you grab our attention with your introduction and how you leave them on a high note with your conclusion. So that's the hamburger evaluation. It works really, really well. And the speeches I've seen where someone has eliminated somebody's ability and kind of put them off even coming back and doing another speech is generally where they've started with weaknesses. Thanks for your speech, but I really didn't like the fact that, you know, you read the whole time. You have killed the person's confidence before you've done anything. Start with everything that works. Gently look at what needs to be worked on, give clear recommendations, and then leave them on a high. So that's the technique. Again, a lot to think about. So how do we capture it? How do you capture it? You don't have time to ruminate when you are listening to a speech. You have to write down the notes as you're going, and sometimes you've got no time to go and give before you give that feedback. So here's a really great structure and framework for capturing your thoughts. I generally will have a blank piece of paper, and then I make up a grid of 4 blocks. At the top, well, in the blocks, I do strengths, areas to improve, suggestions, and in summary. If you don't write the summary block, you're going to forget to summarize. So help yourself out and do these blocks. Then at the top, I write a note that I need to have an opening remark. So I remember to take a note there if something stands out in the speech. And at the bottom of my template, I do a closing remark. So this is where I, you know, also look for something from their speech so I can end on a high note. As the speaker is delivering their speech, I'm under strengths going, oh, wow, great language. And I write the example. Oh, look at the body language. They use their hands to illustrate size. I write the example of what they've done. As I notice areas to improve, I put it there. And I immediately will think, how could they have improved it? I put it into suggestions. I'm looking for my opening and closing remarks throughout their speech. And I jot down ideas of what I could use. And then as they come to the end of their speech, I quickly look at my strengths, my areas to improve, suggestions, and under in summary, I say, remember to work on these things by doing this, keep up these strengths. That really helps me streamline my thinking. I've used this in contests. I was lucky enough to win the Southern African finals in 2015 using this framework, and it made a huge, huge difference. I want to actually show you that contest speech now because it's going to bring it all together. I unfortunately don't have time to show you the demo speech, but it was a fantastic speech. If you ever get to a district level contest, which I hope someone from Westlake will one of these days, you get to watch a demo speaker do a 7-minute speech. There's 10 other evaluators from across Southern Africa. You're all writing notes. You then get put in a locked room. You have 5 minutes to work on your notes. They then take away your notes. And depending on which speaking order you drew, you wait in that locked room until you go on stage. There's 300 people watching you, so the stakes are high. And I went 8th. So actually, I did have a lot of time to ruminate, which is an unfair advantage. Even though you don't have your notes, you can still think. But I was so nervous. I wanted to vomit. I was like, why did I get into this contest? And just before they took me into the stage, I suddenly thought, Verity, why are you worrying about you? And why are you worrying about the 300 people? There's only one person you should be worried about. And that's the person who stood up and was brave enough to do a demo speech in front of 300 people and receive feedback from 10 evaluators. And when I realized my job as an evaluator was to make it about the speaker, then I could stand up on that stage and just speak to him and realize all I'm here to do is hopefully help you make your speaking just a little bit better as a result of my feedback. And that was the game changer for me. He did an amazing speech called The Crazy Little Thing Called Love. He was talking about all the silly things people do when they fall in love. And people were really having a laugh, especially from a male's perspective, how you'll tell your wife her bum doesn't look big in that dress, or you'll dump your mates to, you know, go pick up a girl you're keen on. So it was a really humorous speech. He gave us a lot to work with. He had a technical glitch at the beginning of the speech where they got the sound wrong. The poor guy was left standing. And as an evaluator, I was paying attention from the moment he stood on stage. So again, I think that gave me an advantage. And always look at that. Look at how someone walks onto stage. There might be something you could give them feedback on. So I'm going to show it to you now. I'm just going to have to stop sharing because I don't think I shared my computer sound. I'm going to quickly stop sharing and then reshare with sound. Is everyone still good? You ready to watch? Okay, awesome. Let's share with sound and let's see if we can get this working for you. Okay. It's 3 minutes, so it won't be too long. I'm hoping the sound works.
Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and Keta, I loved your speech. Thank you for a vivid and relatable topic. I think all of us have had something to do with this crazy little thing called love. But there are things that really stood out for me, Keta, and the first was before you opened your mouth. You stood up here with poise and presence while a technical glitch went on around you. And I think you won the audience before you said a word. And then when you started speaking, I discovered that we had a word wizard in our midst. From rhyme, you had the imagination and exaggeration. You spoke about, let me explain, as we walked down memory lane. You used this beautiful speaker's triplet of seek it, nurture it, strike again. Beautiful language that painted pictures that we could all see and imagine. But what I loved was you didn't just paint pictures with your words, you painted pictures with your body. And you had that longing for love and the yearning. And then you used body language to add to your humor. And you had humor in bucket loads. And when you started having the conversation with your lady, that awkward conversation I think all men have gone through, you really painted that picture and then added to the humor with a phew. So that was fantastic, and I really want to commend you for that. The things that I think you could work on, there was 3 things, and they're not huge, Keta, but the one is you use these beautiful words and you had great vocal variety, but you have quite a gentle voice. And at times, I don't know if everyone could hear you. And so my suggestion is when you speak in a room like this, come and do quite a long mic practice and ask your mentor to stand at the back of the room and see how you're projecting and help them push that. Okay, so that's something I think you could work on. The other thing was I loved that you brought the song in. We all know the song, it was fantastic, but I felt like you suddenly lost a little bit of confidence, like I'm standing up here and I'm singing. This thing called love, like I just want to get this bit over with my speech. There was a chance to own that, because that really added to your speech. So you could have even interacted with us. This thing called love, you know, you really could have gone for it. So next time, go for it, own it, because you deserve to be on this stage. And that brings me to my last point and recommendation and thing I think you could work on is your speech was relevant to us and you kept asking these great questions. Would you die for love? Would you lose everything for love? But you didn't give the audience a chance to respond. And you work us, that's your chance. Would you die for love? And if they don't say anything, you go, would you die for love? Would you? Okay, come on. I mean, then you really get them going. But those were opportunities I felt that you missed and you could work on. But in summation, just work the mic to understand and compensate for the gentleness of your voice so that you can add volume to it. Interact with your audience. Commit to the brave things like putting a song into your speech. Keep up your humor. Keep up your body language. Keep up your word wizardry. And when it comes to this crazy little thing called speech making, seek it, nurture it, and please strike again. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you could all see the structure playing out there, and you've only got 3 to 3.5 minutes. So it's a very quick process. You don't have time to get too caught in the details, and you don't want to get stuck talking about the content too much. You want to talk about how they delivered the speech. So let me get this to change for you. So just to set yourself up for success, remember to make it about the speaker and not about you. Even if you've had a similar experience to them, this is not the time to share it. Talk about their speech. Look for their message so that you can use it in your introduction. Don't get caught on the content. Focus on how they delivered. They could talk about something you don't agree with. If they did it well, you're talking about how they did it. You don't have to agree, and even if you love something, talk about how they delivered, not, their content. Only choose 3 to 4 points to focus on so you can give them clear and useful feedback. Always follow the format: strengths, weaknesses, suggestions, and a summary. And then look for phrases or ideas in their speech to help you close powerfully. This for me is always, when I'm listening, once I understood this structure and this framework, it made it really easy to give an evaluation on almost any speech and find something that I could give to the speaker to add value. There's the template for our evaluators today. Maybe just take a screenshot of it so that you've got it. But for me, evaluations are one of the biggest leadership journeys you will ever go on. If you can give feedback in a way that encourages someone to come back and become more as a result of what we've shared and what you've said, you will be a leader. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Compelling video on how to do an evaluation. And we've got to do more of those, because these are so important for us to learn how to become better speakers, because there was 2 things we took out of that. One, how to be a better speaker, because you saw Verity on stage, and how to do evaluations better. So yeah, that was great. So now we're on to our first speech of the evening. And I'd like to introduce Michaela Geldof, who will be evaluating Alex Getzner. And you can show us
I think the first time ever there's been more pressure on an evaluator than I feel. So thank you for that, Verity, wherever you are at this moment. No pressure, Alex. This is his second speech. Honestly, learning from evaluations has helped me with so many things. I really hope I can help you today. The purpose of your speech is presentation mastery. Hopefully you're better at your pronunciation than what I am. And the name of this speech is Running for Those Who Can't. Oh, so I hope you enjoy, and good luck, Alex.
Alex Getzner, running for those who can't, running for those who can't. Please come to the stage, Alex.
It's a beautiful sunny day in May, Cape Town. I just ran 35 kilometers and I feel exhausted as I enter the finish line of this event. Helpful and friendly staff hands me a cold can of Red Bull. Thank you very much. And I get greeted by 2 men. 2 men in a wheelchair. And as I approach them, I lower my head so that one of them can put a medal around my head. And as I look up, he looks me straight in the eyes and says, "Thank you so much. We don't know what it means to me." And although I'm very exhausted, I feel that I've made a small difference. Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. About 250,000 people suffer spinal cord injury each year, 10,000 in South Africa. South Africa stands out as one of the countries with the highest prevalence of spinal cord injury worldwide. In fact, it's 3 times more likely to suffer spinal cord injury living in South Africa than the global average. Are you afraid of a shark attack when going swimming at the beach? Happens about 10 times a year. Compare this to 10,000 spinal cord injuries. And how must it feel to get this diagnosis? To get told that you have no feeling in your feet anymore, in your legs, sometimes even in your arms and your fingers. No control over your bowel and your bladder function. Being bound to a wheelchair for the rest of your life, depending on the help of others for everything, even going to the toilet. And as we stand today, there is no cure for spinal cord injury, but there is hope. Back in 2003, Hannes Kinnegartner, a 19-year-old ambitious young motocross rider, joined a charity. He was a young professional following in the footsteps of his father, Heinz Kinnegartner, a 2 times world champion in motocross. What was intended to be a fun and noble event, unfortunately, turned into a tragedy. Split of a second of lack of concentration, combined with some misfortune, lead to a devastating crash. The 19-year-old Hannes was rushed into hospital, where he shortly thereafter received the diagnosis that he is paralyzed from the neck down. That night, in despair, his father called one of his best friends, Didi Mateschitz, the founder of Red Bull. Mr. Mateschitz came straight into the hospital, and that night, the 2 men made a plan. They would not accept fate. They would not accept that there is no cure for spinal cord injury. And that was the day when the Wings for Life Foundation was born. Now, as spinal cord injury affects the life of so many in a tragic way, it's still not so common that it actually triggers the commercial interest of large pharmaceutical companies. So the funding of research by private institutions like the Wings for Life Foundation is key. But how can you create awareness? How can you reach millions of people? The foundation came up with an innovative idea to organize the running, the Wings for Life worldwide. Now you wonder, what's innovative about a running event? There's hundreds of running events, maybe thousands, that happen every year. Now there are 2 elements which are unique in this event. Firstly, as you start into the race, 30 minutes thereafter, a so-called catcher car starts. Goes first slowly, and then it increases in speed. And as the catcher car catches you, you're out of the race. So there is no fixed finish line. The professional athlete, professional runner, can compete with an amateur runner, can compete with somebody who just loves to go for a walk on the promenade, or even a person in a wheelchair. If you want to go for a walk of 2 kilometers, do an easy run of 5 kilometers, or try to compete with this year's winner from Japan, who ran actually over 70 kilometers. It's up to you. You decide how fast and how long you want to go until the catcher car catches you. So it's truly an event for everyone. Secondly, it's a world run. Exact GPS data and exact timing make it possible that everybody on the world starts at the same time. So you can compete and compare yourself with your friends that run in Germany, in the UK, in Australia, or in the US. Everybody runs in the same race. That makes also the Wings for Life run the biggest running event in the world, with this year 265,000 participants. But the aim is to go higher. One point, the aim is to have 1 million people running at the same time. And the best, 100% of your entry fees, every rand of your entry fees, all goes into spinal cord research. The foundation was able to fund over 300 research projects, as most of those are still in the preclinical phase. Scientists recently concluded that it is no longer a question if, but when spinal cord injury will be cured. So the next event will happen on May the 4th, 2025. If my speech was compelling and you're keen on joining, please register online on the wingsforlife.wordrun.com. Why should you run for those who can't? It's a fun and innovative event, and you can give millions of people hope. Thank you very much.
We really thought that Red Bull would act like Star Wars, May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
And what you made me think of there was Christopher Reeve,
Yeah.
because he fell off a horse and they plowed huge amounts of money into it. And they didn't have a cure for him, he died. So what Red Bull's doing with this wings thing is incredible. I mean, it's so humanitarian. It's like, you know, I always think of Red Bull as a car that can't race. I had to get that in because I'm an AMG fan. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan. Okay, so now we have our second speech. And by the way, Toastmasters about having fun, and humor is a part of how we have fun. So it's lighthearted. I think Red Bull have a great car. I just think they have a crap driver. Okay, so I now give the privilege of introducing the second speaker, and Shifa is the evaluator of Sally. Will you come up, please, Shifa, and give a talk about Sally's speech?
Good evening, Toastmasters and friends and guests. And I stand here before you as an imposter. I'm not actually, Sean, a member of ToastEd. I did not renew my membership. I'm here as a guest. But Sean has said, nevertheless, I'm here. I'm going to be Sally's evaluator. So Sally has just informed me that she's going to be doing a guest and she's going to be doing 2 runs of it. Is that correct, Sally? So tonight is her first run, and she would like me to give her feedback, in particular about the pace of her speech. And I'm assuming your speech is 5 to 7 minutes? Yes. So I would like you to join me in welcoming Sally and wishing her all the best with the speech. Why are habits so difficult to break and so easy to keep? Good evening, Toastmaster, fellow toasted friends and guests. Especially Fanny B. Put your hand up if you still have habits that you wish you could drop or you have been trying to get rid of.
Yes.
I think all of us do. I came across a book recently called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Very inspiring book, if anyone ever wants to read it. In there is a statement that says the ability to form better habits is one of the most impactful things you can do for your life. To change your daily habits is the most impactful thing you can do for your life. Yet it's so difficult. It's difficult for 2 reasons. We do it we either choose the wrong thing to change, or we change it the wrong way. Okay, so most of us will know that we want to change a habit. We go, oh, I'm so tired of doing this. I'm going to do it from tomorrow. I'm starting a new way of doing it. So there's outcome-based habits. You want to give something up and you just, it's a result. You want to do this and you do this. It's an outcome-based, which are not necessarily the most successful. There's also a process sort of way of doing a habit, of getting rid of a habit. I've gone blank now. It's a process way of doing it's where you get a system. So if I give up smoking, say, the system is I will no longer buy the cigarettes. I will no longer go to hang out with a friend that smokes. But the process way of giving up habits is not really sustainable because you're going to have to see the friend, your association smoker with. You're going to have to go camping like me. I smoke when I camp. I can't not go camping, but I just got to hold back and, you know, having a cigarette around the fire. It's a habit I don't want to have. Then there is identity-based habits. Now, identity-based habits are around your beliefs. When you can shift your belief about a habit is when you're going to have the most success. But the strange thing about all these different levels is there's no one level that's better than the other, or there's no one level that's more important than the other. Outcomes is not better than process, and identity is not better. You can't have identity or just you can't just believe. You can't stand there and believe I'm going to do something. You need the others. So, but what happens is people come to a crossroad in their life and they go, I want to stop this thing. And I came across a crossroad recently in my life, well, actually last week. I signed up, as I do, I'm a little bit spontaneous, and habit that works for me. And I clicked on a link on Facebook and I joined an event that's happening on the 30th of August. And for this event, to prepare for the event, I had to click on a strengths finder. I'm like, I want to know my strengths. And up popped my strengths. And as I'm reading my report, I'm going, one of my strengths is communication. I do love to chat. I do love to chat. But in this thing, in the strengths, it tells me that my strength is to be a presenter. Never. I have a belief. I have a strong belief, look at my red rash, that I could never be a presenter. But it says there on the strength finder that I have it. I've been told I have it, but I don't have the belief I have it. So therefore, tonight, I'm going to share this with you as my speech, because I want you to be my accountability partners, and I want to shift my belief in being a good communicator. And in order to do that, I have to change my habits. My habit is, I like friends. I like chatting. So I joined Toastmasters. I have a whole lot of new friends, and I even joined the Exco, because then I can chat twice. I can chat and I can be part of something, but I'm not actually speaking, which is what I really want to do. So, the statement: you will fundamentally change your life if you change your habits, but your habits will not change like this. I will not suddenly become the best presenter. But if I do 1%, if I get 1% better each time, I will then fulfill my desire. My burning desire is to be a good presenter, to be a public speaker. So when we change habits, like giving up smoking, and I've given up smoking, I've given up smoking, and you go to your first event, and someone says, Sally, would you like a cigarette? I go, no, I've given up. And you stand there all night going, but if you go somewhere and they go, Sally, would you like a cigarette? You go, I'm a non-smoker. My belief has changed. The belief in myself I'm no longer a smoker. I truly believe it. The change is different. The system is different. The feeling is different. The person accepts it. If I go, I've given up, the people will go, oh, just.
Yeah.
But so for me, I'm going to shift my belief about being a presenter. So 2024, I'm just a member. No, what am I saying? I go to Toastmasters in 2024. In 2025, I want to say I am a Toastmaster. Thank you.
What a compelling talk on habits. And Atomic Habits is a book that I subscribe to. And the thing that I took out of James Clear's book is that if you get 1% better every day, and that's not a lot, 1% is very little if you think about it. But if you got 1% better every day, within a year, you're 37% better. And within 3 years, you're 100% better. And what really struck me about what James Clear did is that the British cycling team were absolutely useless. They were NFG, no good. I tell you, they could not get a sponsor. They could ride the Cannondale bike in the Tour de France, but it couldn't say Cannondale on the bike.
Yeah.
And then they got a guy called Chris Froome and Bradley Wiggins. And the MD of that company, of the British cycling team, said, we're going to change everything in the bike by 1%. And they actually won the Tour de France. So if you get 1% better every day, you can get to the top. Thank you for that. So now I have Claire van Sale, who's going to evaluate Lowlands, who's going to do a speech on who are you. Claire, can you come up?
Let's land it.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So our beloved Lawrence is going to deliver a presentation. He wants to practice, he's not following a particular speech within the Toastmasters pathway. He's wanting to test and practice his facilitation skills. And so I am going to listen to what he shares and look at ways that we can improve it and become a better facilitator. So are you going to introduce him? So that's my role, is to assist Lawrence.
Lawrence Ball, who are you? Who are you? Lawrence Ball. Yeah.
Who are you? How do you come across? What is your values, your character? What's most important? These are the questions I ask myself virtually every morning because I am a searcher. I'm always looking for something, and it's this passion for trying to figure things out that has pushed me to understand personalities, what drives us. So Eugene, what do you think is a personality? Actions. Alex? Values. Chantal? What about Sean? You've got a lot of personalities.
You talking about the schizophrenia or the normal? No, I think it's values and beliefs. Yeah.
What if I had to say it is a defense mechanism? What do you think? Is that possible? Am I being weird? Let me tell you a story why I think it's a pain mechanism, but also it's not just the pain that we experience, it's how we perceive that pain and choose to move from it. because pain is what dictates a lot of how we decide to live our lives. So I was 10 years old, and my friend was also 10, and we were playing games at home. We were playing Captain Cops versus Robbers. Oh, no, Cowboys versus Indians. And I grabbed the broom, because obviously I wanted to show that I was the steed and I was the cowboy. And he took the Indian hat, and boom, we started this battle to the death. Now, there's differing accounts of what happened that day, but seeing that Terry's not here to defend himself, I might as well just tell you the truth. And the truth is that Terry is clumsy. He falls over every single thing. And today, my broom happened to get in between his feet. So he tripped over my broom and he landed on the floor like this, face down, arms spread. He didn't try to defend himself. I mean, who would do that? Now, part of me was really excited, right? Because we were fighting to the death here, and my comrade is now on the floor. I was winning. But then I heard that sound. You know that sound that every teacher dreads, that every friend, every parent dreads, that sound that goes a little something like... Oh, and there I could see Terry. He was fighting those tears with all of his courage. And my 10-year-old brain was frantic. I was thinking, how am I gonna stop this? My parents are right next door. I was already in trouble with them last week when I, tackled him out of the way of an oncoming imaginary taxi and kind of broke his arm. I was doing a public service. Everyone forgets that. So anyway, I'm thinking, and then I get this idea. There's something that Terry likes more than getting me into trouble. That's airplanes. I look at him and I say, Terry, no human being lands like this. You know what this could mean? Maybe you're an airplane. Oh, you could see the conflict on Terry's face. He was weighing up getting me that hiding I so badly deserved, but then contemplating his newfound identity as a military jet. Now, luckily for me, he took off with all the steam and determination of a fighter pilot, and we ended up having the best day, even though I broke his arm for the second time. Now, what happened is that Terry experienced pain, perceived it in a certain way, and that is what I believe dictates how we come across and what our personalities are. And to this day, Terry is that guy that will look at the glass half full, optimistic, visionary, excited, and he still wants to be a fighter pilot. So let's talk about personalities. I've got this framework called the Enneagram. Now, there's many frameworks. This is not the best one. It's just the one that I happen to know. And this framework shows that there are 9 different types of personalities. Now, most of us have 1 or 2 that stand out. We have all 9 in us. And then sometimes you have someone like Sean who has all 9 in very large portions. So what I'm going to do is take you through the 9 personalities, and I'd like you to make a little note on your paper as to what you think your top 1 or 2 are. And then during the interval to go and find a random stranger and discuss what the personalities look like. So, starting with the 3 triangles. Okay. The numbers within the green triangle here are known as your image center. It's how we want to come across. Okay. The blue is the thinking, or we sometimes refer to it as the fear center. And then the red is the anger center. So you'll have one dominant style in terms of image, one dominant in fear, and one dominant in anger. Starting with image, we'll start with the number 2. And the 2 is known as the helper. Now, every personality is a defense mechanism. Okay, we agree that we experience pain, we perceive it, and how we perceive it dictates how we are. Same as my story with Terry. Now, if somebody comes across as a helper, what painful experience do you think this person has experienced that maybe drives that kind of behavior?
being accepted.
Not being accepted. What did you see?
Bullying.
Bullying? Perhaps. Anyone else? That group over there, the quiet group, I'm coming to you just now. Okay, I've picked your names. I'm gonna start pointing. I don't know your names, that's why I haven't said anything yet, but I will be pointing. This is a engaged workshop. Okay, so the 2 is the helper, and the background story of the helper is that they tend to come from a family where there's a lot of chaos. So I'm actually a helper, funny enough. And the reason I'm a helper is because I have 2 older sisters, and they used to fight like it was World War III every day. And as a young, impressionable man, I saw my parents constantly struggling with these two siblings, that I thought to myself, you know what, it's easier if I'm just quiet, right? What's going to help this situation is if I just withdraw, I don't make it about me, and I avoid my own needs. Does anybody relate with that?
Yeah.
I see a show of hands. Who relates with avoiding their own needs? Okay, you might be a helper.
Yeah.
So the helper is avoiding their own needs. Therefore, they make it about everybody else's needs. And they want to be seen as a helper. So a good example would be Mother Teresa, would be a classic example of someone that's a 2. A 3 is known as an achiever. Sean, how does achiever come across?
Driven, success. Yeah, goal oriented.
Also known as Sean.
The
The achiever is very much known as the chameleon, but also the CEO. So the chameleon is because they want to fit in everywhere. So if you have an achiever in a room full of doctors, they want to be the most intelligent, they want to be the best. If you have an achiever in a creative context, they want to be the strongest painter, the strongest singer, they want to stand out. But they're also a chameleon in terms of being able to adapt to situations really well. So they make fantastic CEOs. They're driven, ambitious, goal-orientated. My favorite example of a 3 is Usain Bolt, right? The fastest man in the world, driven to achieve great things. But one thing you'll note, Usain Bolt, it's about him. As he wins the race, he doesn't stand there with everybody doing his move. It's his move. It's his time to shine. And that's the achiever. They want the medals. They want to stand out. What is the achiever avoiding? They're coming across achieving success. They're driven to show you how good they are. What do they avoid? Potentially? Failure. Lovely. Failure. Then we have number 4. And these are known as the individualists. So your painters, your artists, your musicians, your creatives, we all know them. Now the creative tends to come up from a family where they feel like they're an orphan. They don't feel like they ever understood. They don't fit in. Mom doesn't get me. My friends don't get me. They dress funny. They want to be different. So they come across as being different. What are they avoiding? Close? Yeah. They want to be different. They don't want to be the same. So they avoid sameness. From an image perspective, we all want to be seen in a certain way. Some people want to be seen as being helpful. They avoid their own needs. They make it about everybody else. Some people want to be seen as successful, strong, brave, the best. They're avoiding being seen as the worst. But some people just want to be different. Who relates with the 2? See by show of hands. Usually there's a lot of 2s in Toastmasters because a lot of self-help people are just naturally driven to come to these kind of events. Who sees a 3 in there? I don't know. You guys don't strike me as 3s. Let me tell you, a 3 doesn't go like. A 3 is like, yeah, that's me. I'm the best. And who sees themselves as a 4? Oh, wow. I thought so. Because your hand was like very 4-ish and not very 3-ish.
4 is the creative.
Correct. the romantics, the musicians, the poets, the artists. Now, there's a tendency for people to look at these numbers and say, man, I wish I was a 3. Or like 2s look so much better than 4s. But each of these have beautiful and ugly parts to them. And it more depends on what your level of maturity is. Someone who's a very low level maturity 2 is not somebody that's helping because they love that person or because they want, they're helping others because they're trying to help themselves. And it's very selfish. Well, you know what I'm saying? You've got different levels of maturity, and each number brings great beauty to the world. Let's go to fear. So here we have a 5, a 6, and a 7. The 5, 6, 7. And this is more how you deal with data. So here we're talking about image, here we're talking about data. So we've got the 5, which is known as the investigator. An investigator is somebody that knows absolutely everything about a very small amount of things. So the opposite of a jack of all trades and a master of none. A jack of very few trades, but a master of those trades. So an investigator will know everything about this pen, where it was made, how it was made, how does the color turn blue, how is it manufactured, distributed, weighted, how much money is made per gram. Is that 10 minutes? 13 minutes. Oh my gosh. So what is the 5 avoiding? If the 5 wants to be knowledgeable about everything, what are they avoiding? That's right, inadequacy. Only I'd have more time to give you guys time to think, but now I just have to answer. Number 6 is known as the skeptic. This is somebody that trusted somebody at school, and then that person betrayed their trust. Alex, we've been there. I'm sure we've been there. Right, you go and you say to your friend, I like this girl. She's so pretty. And then 2 minutes later at the break time, everybody's like, Alex and Sarah kissing in the tree. Too many experiences of trust being broken makes the skeptic the skeptic. So they're avoiding trust. And then number 7 is the enthusiast. Yo, that time is going quickly. The enthusiast. The enthusiast is all about networking, dreaming big. Think of Richard Branson, somebody who has ideas and can delegate. So this is your pie in the sky thinker. And what they're avoiding in life is boredom. They want excitement, man. They want drive. So are you a 7? You're a big picture thinker. You don't like the detail. You're optimistic and you like networking. Are you a 6? You're a bit skeptical about people. You're a little bit doubtful about your own abilities. You're more of a team player. Or are you a 5? You're very focused, detailed, focused on one thing. You're a bit introverted. People don't really like socializing with you, but you're hyper intelligent. Who's a 5? Okay, a 6? A 7? Who's not going to raise their hands no matter what I ask? Okay, that's 20 minutes, huh? Oh, we're going to 20 minutes, eh?
Oh, sorry. Okay, ignore all the time.
Wow. Okay, no, that's 5 minutes. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. No further than I chopped and changed, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of winning this. Then we have anger. How do you deal with anger? Some people push it on others. Some people internalize it. Some people avoid it. The 8 is known as the challenger. When things go bad, they blame others. Now, sometimes it's good to have a challenger because sometimes it is other people's fault. And you need to hold them accountable. So 2 examples of challenges that are good. Number 1, you've got Nelson Mandela. Number 2, you've got Julius Malema. 2 hyper contrasting individuals. What Julius is known for is being brash and strong and loud. Nelson Mandela is the exact opposite, but what they share is a determination and a belief system. They've stuck with their beliefs. And that's what a challenger is somebody that's incredibly driven, strong, a great CEO, someone who can go through the stormy seas and be calm. And what they're avoiding, that's right, vulnerability. They don't want to be seen as soft. That's why they come across as strong. Are you starting to see that there is a link between these two? That the painful experience we have in our past is what drives us to show up in a certain way. The 9 is known as the peacemaker. I think the name says it all. They're avoiding conflict. So when things go bad, there's fighting, they tend to step out of it. Now, the funny thing about the peacemaker is they're incredibly good at mediating other people's conflict. They know mommy and daddy are fighting and they could stand there for hours mediating there, but as soon as daddy's upset with him, then we have to hide away. And they're avoiding conflict. And then number 1 is the perfectionist. What is the perfectionist avoiding? Remember, how does a perfectionist come across? Yeah, perfect. Coming to the quiet. I thought you could get away with not talking, eh? You have not said one thing. So what does a perfectionist, how does a perfectionist come across? You follow it? The best example, existential crisis. The best example I can give you is you come home after a math test. You go to your dad or to your mom and you say, I've got 95%. The parent says, we've got a 5%. That is what creates a 1. So they're avoiding criticism. They're avoiding criticism. Because all of this boils down to one thing. How do we feel love? We all want love, guys. I mean, we want money, we want cars, we want nice things. But at the end of the day, we just want love. And the way that the 1 experiences love versus the way that the 5 experiences love is different. Based on the childhood trauma and pain that we went through and how we choose to perceive it. Now, there's a massive debate between nature and nurture. Are we born this way or do we become this way? Who agrees with born this way? I don't think anybody at Toastmasters would agree with born this way because we're all growth mindset people. What about nurture? Oh, well, I'm in the right room then. Because I believe that a lot of people get stuck in that pain. Now, what would have happened if Terry got stuck in that pain that he's a victim in that situation? Albeit that he really was. I was a bully. But where would he have been? So we all have pain. Hey, we go through heartbreak. We go through failures. We lose friends. We lose people. We trip over brooms, land face first onto the ground, but it's how we choose to bounce back that ultimately defines what your personality is. So instead of asking you, who are you? I'll ask, who do you want to be?
So, and Lawrence, yeah, when you mentioned Enneagram, like it brought back memories because I must have ordered about 6 books from America on the Enneagram because you couldn't get them in this country. And I was fascinated by the Enneagram and what it could do. And it was actually, there was a guy, he was a Russian who lived in the 1800s who came up with this. It's not like a new science. You know, Myers-Briggs and all these guys came along like a century later. This guy was like from the 1800s, put all this together. And when I looked at my profile, I'm a 7. thought like, this is like, it's profound, you know, how did the guy get this so right, so long ago? When we didn't even have psychology was probably when he was doing this. So it was thanks for reminding me of that. It was, he brought it back. So now we're going to go to voting, right? Okay, well, I'll spend a few more minutes just after this we have dinner, and you know, when we're having the dinner, we would like to just interact with some of the new members. So if you're a new member, just find one of the committee members. The committee members are Justine, Sally, Gabriella, Chantal at the back, and just come and chat to us. You know, just interact with us, just to get to know a bit more about Toastmasters, maybe. You know, and then we can go to voting. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your phone on the QR code, and you're going to vote for your best speech.
Quick question.
Yes?
And the voting is members only.
No, yeah.
Everybody.
Everyone. And once you finish voting, and we will take dinner, and we said half an hour, right? So we will reconvene, what's that, 4:45? So you're going to give them that? Okay, have you got them all? Yeah, okay, let's take speech sides.
Alex, I'm afraid I started your timing a little bit late because I didn't realize I was study the timer. So you were in between 6 minutes 30 and 6 minutes 45, more or less. So in time, great. And then Sally was 6 minutes 43. And Lawrence, when I eventually realized what your timing was, you were 20 minutes 40. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll take dinner, and then we reconvene at 4:15. Yes, and there'll be a breakout room for all of the online folk, and then you can talk to the Gabriella will go into the breakout room with you.
I'm just going to start and then everyone can finish up your thing. So we need to start on time. And don't forget, the late and great Trevor came and gave us some tips on being an SAA, a lesson that I've never forgotten, when he said you have to start on time. Yes. Out of respect and just out of order. So I'm going to start on time, so whoever's not here, but it's good to have order, and I think that's why Toastmaster works so well, is because of the order it has. Everything is very set order. So I'm going to follow Trevor's advice or Trevor's instructions, because he gave me a bit of a rap over the knuckles, and we are opening over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
So now we have our first evaluation, and it's Michaela evaluating Alex's speech. Will you come up to the floor, Michaela?
Running for those who can't. It was really great listening to you. Firstly, had no idea about this. Clearly been living under a rock. So thank you for introducing this to me and to everyone else who didn't know. it was very tough to fault you. The fact that this was your second speech is just very impressive, and especially English is not your first language. I thought it was very, very well structured. You brought us in with a great introduction, and then you kind of stood back and then introduced yourself, which I thought was a really nice way to kind of get us hooked a little further, a little further, a little further. And your use of props, I mean, when did you get her involved? And then I saw a Red Bull there, and then I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna go around the whole thing. Someone's gonna have to pick up the camera and go around. So I thought that was really great because you captured my attention. Like I said, it was really well written, and how you intertwine the facts and the stories going in and out. I think it was really well done. And the questions within your speech, how you like pose, it wasn't just at the beginning and it wasn't just at the end. You asked and you just let us settle in, which I thought maybe you could let the questions settle in a bit longer. So, for example, are you afraid of a shark attack? Rather than, are you afraid of a shark attack? No. Do you know what I mean? Just also a moment where you couldn't move from your spine down and kind of like look at your feet and realize that this is the moment that you can't move. It's kind of just to be a little bit more impactful, but like I said, it was really hard to find something. So it was more in your gestures at the beginning were really great, but I feel it became you became more comfortable in your speech towards the end when your gestures then opened your body more, and then you were speaking about the facts and you were talking about the event because you knew about it, but at the beginning you were trying to remember a speech, so your gestures were a bit smaller, where I think it's something that you could open and especially move around the space. I know that's something I do. I normally just stick and then I'm like turning around like this the whole time, where definitely always just walk around, especially with the camera staring right at you. And then how you were throwing your shocking figures at us, I thought was really, really nice way to intertwine. But like I said, and I've repeated this, just to let it settle, I think that was just more the main thing. And then, I mean, it was really well structured that I was like almost trying to write down your formula and how you brought it in, and how you then introduce the events, like it's in a casual way and it's no longer a serious talk where now I want you to talk about the event and I want you to come. It wasn't like doom and gloom. So I thought that was really well received and a nice way to get people more engaged with it rather than feeling bad about themselves. So well done. You're already such a great speaker. Just practice your tones and variations and gestures. That was my last comment. And I'll give you this piece of paper so you can absorb everything I just did. Thank you so much, Alex.
What a compelling evaluation. Okay, so now I have Shifa, who's going to evaluate Sally. Come up to the stage, Shifa.
And once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, friends, guests, everybody online. So I've had the privilege and the pleasure of evaluating Sally this evening. Unexpected as it was, thank you to Sean over there. But Sally was a good sport about it. So, Atomic Habits, a universally compelling book. And I can tell you for a fact, universally compelling. I live in Central Asia. And the Russian speakers love this book, love it. It has had such an impact on people worldwide. Here I am in the southern part of Africa, and I hear Sally reinforcing the value of this book. It has really captured our human imagination. So Sally, while I was listening to you and keeping in mind Verity's excellent presentation on how to evaluate, I came up with no less than 8 positive strengths that I thought that your speech suggested. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm mindful of the time. So you started off by engaging the audience. Isn't it always lovely when we are included? And she asked us, put up your hands if you want to change your habit. And she immediately captured all of us. And that is a way to immediately grab your audience's attention. Give them something of value, something that will connect with your audience. So well done for that. So, Sally, I also like the way that your hands were talkative throughout your speech. And your body, the way you kind of used the stages to some effect. You didn't just stand in one spot. You kind of moved. I could see that the people on screen were following you, but we were all following you, and that's important. When you move and use the stage in front of you, you know your eye, the audience's eye has to move, and they don't fall asleep. So that's a really good thing that you might want to reinforce the next time you do the speech. I love the way that what you got out of the book, you tapped into the human condition and how you were going to apply this. So I thought that was, because that is really what Atomic Habits is. How do you personally apply the lessons of Atomic Habits in your own life? Another important thing that I thought that you did very well was inviting us, once again, inviting the audience. It wasn't just about something that you were offering to all of us to be your accountability partner. What a lovely idea that was, to include us in your journey. Sally, I like the dips and the rises in your voice. I just love you spoke in a conversational tone. It wasn't sort of lecturing. It wasn't sort of book review-ish, but it was conversational. And I'm also sure that you know where you need to improve for your next speech, because you yourself said, oh, I lost my train of thought. So you kind of lost the content. So maybe what that needs is a little bit of brushing up and just remembering what you want to say. In terms of my suggestion, what I would suggest is, a lot of people have read Atomic Habits, but I'm always interested, how do you read a book, especially a book like this, a non-fiction book that you want to apply in your life? Are there little notes that you've used? Are there little sticky notes? Maybe if you had brought the book in and showed it to us as something concrete, I would think that would reinforce it, because that would make one of us go out tomorrow to Wordsmith or to Exclusive and go and purchase the book. And also, what in Atomic, a lot of people have read it, but what chapter stood out for you in there? What lines is there anything that you contradicted maybe? But how have you applied the book, used it, and maybe critiqued it? Because yes, everybody says a lot of positive things about Atomic Habits, but what is there to critique? You also have an opinion about that. So what I would like to say is, for your next speech, maybe if something you'd like to keep up is, once again, reinforce with using the stage, not just staying in one space. But your hand gestures are lovely and alive and engaging. Yes, engage us as an audience, and good luck with your next speech. Thank you.
And now we have the lovely Claire, who's going to give Lawrence evaluation.
Good evening, everybody, and especially Lawrence. Who are you? Did you think that somebody was going to ask you that tonight? Did he captivate your attention? Did he educate us? And a lot of humor. So Lawrence asked me to give him an evaluation, and I said to him in the break, and I mentioned that this was an off-the-top and impromptu speech in a way. He's presented this a long time ago, and when he came to the meeting, he was going to speak about one thing, and then he pivoted and he spoke about something else. But he still provided a lot of value because of the skills that he naturally has. He captures our attention with his amazing opening. And he kept us engaged with his questions. kept us thinking about these different elements. Was that effective for our audience? Yeah, exactly. And he took a topic. He took a topic that could be overwhelming, and he broke it down in a really easy and understandable way. Because I've heard the Enneagram explained previously, and a lot of it went shoo, over my head. But this one, he made it really simple based on the time that he had. So gestures, body language, use of humor were fantastic. What could he have improved? So the first, or one of the things we're taught in Toastmasters is if you need a prop, or if you need to have the stage set, you don't do it. You get the sergeant at arms, you get another member, you get them to bring it up here before you come. So you don't come lugging your, put it here. You have the stage set, the Toastmaster introduces you, and you start strong. So that was the one suggestion, was make sure that the stage is set for you, or as I was about to get up and take it. So make sure that it's set. And then obviously, because you hadn't structured the speech, you had a great opening and you had a great close with asking, who are you? Who do you want to be? So you left us, you brought it back, and you left us with a new question, which was, okay, so you now know based on the Enneagram, who do you want to be? The other thing is, never be turning your audience on, your back to the audience. Find a way to write side, maybe turn it slightly, but you can write on there. And the other thing was, maybe because of time, is to have included those different areas on there and the numbers at least. So that you didn't have to do that, just a little bit less writing. But you still managed to bring a really complex topic over and information in a way that you leave us knowing, oh, that's who I am. So I want to congratulate you on involving all the audience in terms of facilitation, because that's what you were practicing, was involving the audience and drawing out the ones who really want to participate. And I love the humor, the storytelling that you included parts from yours, and then giving our Toastmaster a bit of a roast. So really well done. Just watch the time, make sure your stage is set up for you, and yeah, keep educating us and entertaining us. Thank you.
So now we will call for table and for evaluation times, and Sneal, you're going to give it? Okay. And we let you off the hook, so we're signing you up for the next meeting, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that is what will happen. Evaluation times. Michaela, 3 minutes, 4 seconds. And congratulations, that was your first evaluation. Tifa, thank you for stepping in as an evaluator, even though you aren't part of our club anymore. Your time was 4 minutes 43, a little bit over. And then Claire, 4 minutes 10. But it's very insightful, so we enjoyed hearing it. So thank you very much. Thanks, John.
So now we get to the interesting part of the evening, where we have table topics. And this is the part of the evening that I always love, because this is impromptu speeches where we start to just play a little bit with you guys. So Andrea, why don't you come up and tell us what your topics are for the night? And give a bit of an intro as to what table topics is for everybody, so that they just get a sense of what it is. Thank
you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Hello. Right, greetings everybody. Thank you very much, Sean. Welcome to Table Topics. Now, Table Topics is the fun part of the evening. It's an interactive part where everybody gets a chance to join in, and you are given the opportunity to tackle a question on the fly. So no preparation, no script involved. It's
It's basically unfiltered spontaneity. Table Topics is an invaluable tool and it will help you with confidence and the ability to start a conversation. And just like a muscle, it's built over time. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Some of you may be here for different reasons, whether it's to improve your public speaking, boost your confidence, or learn how to organize a speech. But what unites all of us is communication. Communication is key to success. Table topics should be between 1 to 3 minutes long. If you go a little bit over or a little bit under, it's okay. It's all about really having fun. Today, I'd like to do something slightly different. And I grabbed a bag to put all my questions in, but when I grabbed this bag, I noticed that it says the pause room. So with tonight's topic about digital wellness, isn't it important to pause sometimes and to just take a break? And if you are chosen as doing one of the table topics, just take a little breath before you start. Sometimes helps to calm the nerves. So I'd like to start with maybe a member. I don't know if any members here. That is quick. So if you would like to start, and I thought maybe you can read your own question, which also helps to solidify what it is that you want to talk about, as opposed to me giving you. Here we go, Claire.
If you could only send emojis for the whole day, which 3 would you use the most and why? A person who doesn't particularly like cell phones but has to use them. Can anybody guess which one would be my first choice? Motorbike. Yay! I'd use for 3, but she said 3 different ones. I'm not big on phones. If I could, I'd want to go back to pre-phones, where we actually had real connections with people. But I love riding my motorbike because it's off. I listen to the other one connected to my helmet. I can listen to music while I'm riding. So motorbike would be 1. Can anybody guess what would be number 2?
Pets, dogs.
Dogs. I love dogs. They're my favorite kind of people. They just are unconditional love and acceptance. So dogs would be my second one. And the third one, yes, it would be love. Because that is where we need to come from. In everything we do, if we come from love, even in the challenging moments, we serve ourselves best and we serve others best. So those would be my 3. The motorbike first, of course, always. And of course, sexy cars, but they don't really have sexy cars as emojis. Look at the little race cars, which is nice, but it's not sexy cars. But so motorbike, dogs, and love. Because everything we do should come from love and not from fear. So focus on what you love and you'll have a better life experience.
What a fantastic start. Thanks so much, Claire. That was absolutely amazing. Anybody else would like to volunteer? Another member, maybe?
Yeah, here you do.
The newest member.
That's right. If you could swap your smartphone for a classic flip phone for a month, do you think you'd enjoy it or struggle? Okay, this might be shocking because I look forward to wedding. I'm Gen Z, so I don't know what a flip phone is.
Not as
But I imagine it's on a cake version of a smartphone with no internet.
So I'll probably not enjoy it as much as like my smartphone, but I think it will be a good experience to be present, to unplug and take a pause. And yeah, and just be present in myself. I think I've started a routine these days where I don't look at my phone for the first 3 hours of the day. So when I wake up, I used to go straight to TikTok and look at all the bad things happening in the world, but I don't anymore. And I've seen a significant improvement in my mental health and as well as just how the day feels in general. So yeah, I think I don't know what flip phone is, but I think I would like it. Thanks.
So I believe Catherine would like a question. So Catherine, I'm going to pick something for you, or maybe does anyone want to pick a question for Sally? Shall I just go ahead? I mean, for Catherine.
Yeah, okay. You're quite faint, Andrea, so just speak quite loud. Hey, thank you.
Catherine,
Yeah.
what is the farthest you've ever gone without checking your phone, and how did it make you feel?
Okay, so can you just repeat that once more?
What is the longest you've ever gone without checking your phone, and how did it make you feel?
Okay. Is it how long is it? A minute or up to 3 minutes, is it?
2 to 3 minutes, yes.
2 to 3. Okay. So I love this topic because I'm totally in support of that. Believe it or not, I'm actually not a social media person at all. I'm not even on Twitter or Instagram or any of that. And I can't say I miss it, but I know I should be for business. So there's kind of two sides of the coin there. But the longest I've gone without my phone is when my phone shut down for 2 days because it was broken. And so I didn't have contact with anyone for 2 days. I absolutely loved it. It was heaven. I got into good books and I slept and I wondered if anyone was missing me. And I really, actually, I have to be honest, there was something about it that I found incredibly restful and incredibly connecting. I remember saying to a friend when that happened after the weekend, I said to her, do you know, I didn't miss it at all. I actually just loved connecting with nature. I just found it so restful. So I was a little bit panicked from a sort of like, like my students needed to get hold of me or ask something and then I wouldn't be able to get back to them. Or I do like to get back to people. I don't like leaving people waiting and hanging, and it's not my style. I don't like doing that at all to people. So I was worried about doing that to people. But other than that, I absolutely loved being without a phone for a whole weekend. Thank you.
That is so true, and I have to say, when there is load shedding and there's no Wi-Fi at home, we certainly get up to a lot more other things than sitting on the phone scrolling. So, well said, Catherine. Anybody else? Goodbye.
If you had to write a breakup letter to your phone, what would it say? Okay, I'll repeat the question. If you had to write a breakup letter to your phone, what would it say? Dear John, it's been good. You've been there with me in every moment. I can't remember the last time somebody was in the toilet with me. I think it was when my children were under 2, when they couldn't even let me go to the bathroom by myself. But you managed to come to the bathroom with me. More than I'd like to admit, actually. So it's been good. But I think we've reached the end. You've really held on. You've really lasted. Your battery has lasted. You've captured many memories on my behalf. But I've stored them in the cloud now. I do appreciate you, but it's time for us to part ways. I don't think I can throw you in the bin. That wouldn't be responsible. I do think there are some people that I can take you to discard of you responsibly for the earth. And you will be fine. You will be taken care of. And I will also be fine. If there's a digital heaven somewhere, we shall meet again. Love. Bye-bye.
Well done, Savon. That was very creative. I thought that was fantastic. So I think Nina also would like to try one, Nina.
Yes, I would love to.
Here's your question. If your phone could talk, what do you think it would say about you after listening to you?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. I really wish my phone can never get a chance to talk because I do all the talking, and this is my better half who listens to me without talking. Sometimes you need a mute spectator in your life. If everyone ends up talking, it's difficult because you don't want to agree or disagree. You just need someone to just listen to you. And that's what exactly my phone does. As much as I agree with the Toastmaster of the day that I'm the average user where I have the phone usage for more than 5 to 6 hours, if my phone gets a chance to talk, probably it might say, Meena, in spite of having a heavy schedule, you still try to take time to use your phone, but you don't go for your lunch breaks. Meena, in spite of having severe headaches and sleepless nights, you still pull out to write mails of your work purpose, but you don't take care of yourself to sleep for a while. So these are the talks that I don't want to hear, but I certainly know my phone cares for me through those pop-ups. It could be your screen time is overshot. It could be it's time for you to wind down. Through these little ways, my phone certainly talks to me. So one thing I would say is on terms of digital wellness, as much as we are into phones, take that effort, try putting those settings in your phone so that it's not overshooting. At the same time, you are taking care of yourself through these little ways as your phone talks to you. With that, back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thanks, Emma, for those compelling topics on And now we'll go for turns on table topics. The lovely Justine. Did I mention the lovely
Andrea, thank you so much for those topics. They were amazing and so fun. Claire, your time was 2 minutes, 1 second. Eugene, 1 minute and 6 seconds. Congratulations on your level topic. Catherine, you were 1 minute and 37 seconds. Tabang, 1 minute, 43 seconds. And Mina, you were 1 minute, 47 seconds. Oh, sorry, Tabang, you were 1 minute, 43. And Mina was 1:47. Thank you.
So now we will go to table topics and evaluation voting. So we will pull that up onto the screen. And I just want to say that you can see how impromptu speaking is something that is just, you just get up and you just talk. And if you don't know what the topic is, talk about anything. Yeah. So it's just like, it's just get you used to being in Toastmasters. This is the most fun part of the evening is the table topics. We're missing one. We're missing you. Start over. Great. Very good. So now we will get Mina to give us the counter. Mina, are you ready?
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. So here is the count report. Toastmaster of the Day, Sean has used once, twice, so thrice, and repeats are if, so, and. You tend to use these repeats while doing transition to different parts of the segments. So try taking care of that. And evaluator 1, Mikhail, is used twice. And most repeated words are really and very well. You use these adjectives while you're describing when you like some quality of the speaker. You can try using synonyms like undoubtedly, genuinely, truly for really, and for very well, you can try using excellent, great, superb, magnificent, etc. And speaker 1, Alex has used once. I like the emphasis of repetition that he used, like everything while he was talking about the grave synonyms. Okay, I used once now during his speech. And evaluator Shifa has used 3 R's. I would request you to use a pause. Considering the rate of speech, that time your R's might reduce. It was only 3, but you can take care of it through pauses. Speaker 2, Sally, has used 2 R's, 1 and I do love to chat. Repetition that brought in a sense of humor, so I liked it. And evaluator 3, Clara, I forgot that I'm counter because I was engrossed in your evaluation. So I do not have the count for arms during your evaluation. Speaker 3, Lawrence, has used only once during the entire presentation. That was while we were talking about the 3 games, captain and the 3 games. And table topic master Andreas used only once. Clariat for table topic speaker 1, no R's, no none of it. And table topic speaker 2, pardon me if my pronunciation is wrong, Ngoni has not used any of Table topic speaker 3, Catherine, has used 1 2 likes. It was in the speech, so we could follow your speech very well. It didn't interfere because our counter had to count the arms. And table topic speaker 4, Tabang, has not used any R's or and me, I have used 2 R's, 3 and 1 well. So with that, this is the report, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
So now we have our grammarian report with Tabang. If you'll come up, please, Tabang, and give the grammarian report.
Thank you, Toastmaster. The Romanian report, I will focus on the use of the word of the day and some interesting quotes or use of language that was used during the meeting. Sean used the word of the day 5 times, Alex once, Chifa twice. I'm sorry if I didn't pick you up if you used it. I think Eugene used it in his bio. And that was before we started counting. but I remember that you used it there. And then interesting things that I picked up throughout the meeting. Alex had beautiful imagery when getting that medal. So I think that brought us into his space and time at the point. We used the phrase, give millions of people hope. Sally used burning desire, which I thought was interesting. Lawrence used battle to the death, fighting those tears. And each brings its own beauty to the world. The word that I would encourage Lawrence to say more formally is trying to, as opposed to trying to. That's what I picked up. Chantal said Trevor had wrapper over the knuckles. Is that the wrapped me over the knuckles? Yes. Michaela had intertwined the facts. She first said unexpected as it was, which she could have said in a more simplistic way, but I like the way that she phrased it, unexpected as it was. Tapped into the human condition. Claire, I liked dogs are my favorite kind of people. And another word that I would encourage you to use more formally, want to be as opposed to wanna be. Yes. Andrea had unfiltered spontaneity, which was beautiful. I thought it was interesting that Eugene, as a Gen Z, does not know what a flip phone is. And lastly, Nina, I liked how she started with, my phone listens to me. Then at the end of her speech, she said, my phone talks to me, which was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you for that detailed report. I was going to say compelling, but there's no more scores for it. And now we hand over to Lawrence for a general evaluation of the hand. Don't make it too long, those two want to go.
The general evaluation role is just to give feedback to the club on what they did well and where they could improve. So just following on the agenda, firstly, the introduction to the whole program was fantastic. And I'm sure that the guests will agree. You walk into the common area and everybody's talking and welcoming and warm. Kind of feels like you're at an Amway presentation. But you're coming into a warm, positive space. The president introduction was fantastic, short and sweet. And I love that you get a little bit of introduction from each of the guests. That's such a nice trend that you brought in. It gets everybody talking a little bit. I love that. The vice president of membership did a powerful and encouraging session. And it's really nice to see people expand and grow, because the way you become a good speaker is by trying and trying and trying again. And you give us that, that hope to keep going. Next time, what I would recommend is maybe get the guest to read out their CV as opposed to reading it out yourself. Maybe that gives us another opportunity to get to know them, but also an opportunity for them to speak and get a bit comfortable on stage. From a role perspective, Toastmaster, guys, that was a masterclass of how to run a very efficient and very fun session. You explained the clapping, which Toastmasters were quite obsessed about that. And you also led the claps. You did a role description and you stepped in when Helanda was late to explain what the timekeeper does. Now, as a Toastmaster, when you're running the MC role, you have to know everybody else's role, because your job is to manage the entire procession. So again, Sean showing us how to do it. And then you linked between each between each role and between each speech, you led it back to the theme. It was brilliant. We did speak about it at the halfway point. I felt that his body language is a bit, his hands were in prayer position a lot of the time, and he was a bit slumped over. But after the session, or after the break, you were much better. So that's cool. Timekeeper, great, standing in there. Yolanda did a great job. The comprehensive counter, and then even doing a self-evaluation. Like evaluating others is not hard enough. And a very compelling grammarian report. I feel like I still get a point there. And I think just the general population and the general people of this club are warm, welcoming, and inviting. And I think that all the guests would agree that this is a great place to come and learn. The educational, I thought it was fantastic to have a powerful speaker like Verity. No one knows it better. And it was a massive value add to the members and to the guests. What I'd recommend is maybe the next time, because we want to bring educationals in every time, maybe do a poll and say, everybody in the group, what would you like to learn? Speaking, structure, humor, whatever it is. And then we get an experienced Toastmaster to do that educational. Also, maybe it's just me, but I don't think the video concept works so well, especially not a 20-minute video. 5-minute video, maybe, and then send a longer one on the WhatsApp group for people to consume in their own time. But it's a bit disengaging to listen to a 20-minute video. I'd rather have you in live do a proper educational, and then make use of the specialist video from Verity to consume at our own time. Speakers, Alex and Sally. I mean, Alex, well done. Basically just started and you're speaking without notes, which is fantastic. And I have not seen you come out of your shell like that before. Yeah. That was insane. Yeah, and you were doing like high voice, low voice. You were getting into character. It was very cool to see. Then Lawrence, please prepare next time because that was a bit embarrassing. Don't pivot 10 seconds before you're about to speak. You think after 10 years this guy would know that. Then evaluators, Michaela, well done on doing your first one. That was fantastic. Shifa, enthusiastic and powerful. Very cool. And Claire, detailed and professional. I think we've got some really good evaluations today. And nice for the guests to see that we're not just here speaking, we're here learning what's good, what's bad, and how to improve. What I would recommend on the evaluation side, it's something we used to do in an old club of mine, is we had a chief evaluator. So somebody who's quite experienced, knows how the evaluation game works, who would lead the procession of the evaluators. So during the interval, the evaluators go out first, they grab their snacks, they go sit in a room together and they discuss their results with the chief evaluator kind of guiding things. And then the guests can go and sit in and listen. And it's a really nice way in which the evaluators can kind of share knowledge, but also the guests can give their input and can see how the evaluation, the sausage is made with that guy. The next section was the break time. I think it was a great bit of food. Really good food. I mean, that was really, really good food. And I think what you guys did well is for the guests, the whole setup here. I mean, you've got them showed, you've got the audience showed, the face, the speaker showed, the lights, the audio. Can I get a thumbs up from if it was good? Fantastic. I think you guys have done a really good job to merge the digital and the live event. From the impromptu side, the topics were fantastic and related to digital well-being. So I thought that was great and best. And I think you encouraged the guests really nicely. You started with 1 or 2 members to kind of break the ice, which is clever. And then you got a couple of the new people in to explore. And I think that was fantastic. And you got the guests to read instead of reading it yourself. So again, I think that was a nice touch. What I would do for the next person who wants to do the impromptu is to change it up completely. I feel like we've gotten into this routine where every time it's 5 or 6 notes and we're going to read it out and it's always going to be related to the theme. But something like what I did a couple of months back was a bachelorette show. And you play the kind of the mediator or the presenter, and then you've got 3 girls and 3 guys and you get them to pitch to each other. Or you can do like a survivor and you have to stand up and you have to say why we shouldn't vote you off the island. And you create like a theme or scenario and it becomes more almost like a play. It could be a lot of fun. So in summary, the intro was powerful, you felt welcomed. president, I think we've got on a really good trend with inviting guests to share with us. Next time, maybe get the guests to introduce themselves. On the roles, you did a great job. You really did. Your role descriptions was great. You were flexible, adaptable, you barely prepared, and that just shows how much you've grown as a speaker. One thing to watch out for is you're not another two. From an educational perspective, it was great getting a powerful speaker. Let's not get a 20-minute video, let's shorten it to 5, or get some in-person speakers. The speakers, Alex, Sally, well done. Lawrence, you need to find another day job. Evaluators, you did a fantastic job. Let's bring that chief evaluator in one time. I don't mind playing that role in the beginning, and then we can see if it fits. The break time was great. The food was fantastic. The digital experience included everybody. And from an impromptu perspective, great topics. Let's try and change it up next time to throw some human in. And then I think my favorite thing is that we have these Ruby notes. And I got a note from somebody and I'm still blushing. It was a really nice note. So it really means a lot. And thank you. Over to you. Who's next?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I forget how important that general evaluation is, because we haven't done it for a while. But it just ties the whole club together. It's such a fantastic thing. Thanks so much, Lawrence. Hang on a second. So I've come to the end of my evening. And I know you guys are going to miss me, but I'll send you my telephone number. I now hand over back to our president. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You really are such an amazing Toastmaster. And I love your kindness and everything that you bring to the evening. Thank you really, really so much. And Lawrence, thank you for that general evaluation. It is really so insightful to just hear what we can do better, because we always wanted to better our club and to become the best. And it was really some great takeaways. So thank you. We'll definitely be seeing those in our next meeting. To all of our role players, new and old, you were great. Thank you so much. Thank you for stepping in lastminute.com. It's appreciated. And you were all amazing. So thank you and well done and congratulations. And then to our speakers, I'm not going to give you my feedback. Lawrence is kind of giving you quick evaluations. You've received your evaluations, but you were all amazing. And you were all so funny. Really so funny. I'm sitting there like, oh my word, you guys are hilarious. So thank you for sharing your wise words in such a humorous way. And Andrea, thank you for those table topics. They were so lovely. I loved the little emojis and it just was so related to our themes. Thank you very much. And then I wanted to ask you all, who is interested in continuing this journey of learning? Who? Yay! Because what we have is our dues are coming up. So I think we've all paid. Eugene, I think you might be slightly different, but we have all paid up until the end of September. And as of the 1st of October, we need to start paying from October to March. So that means the club is going to start invoicing you for the next 6 months. You want to continue this learning, please sign up. Please continue with us. We want to see you grow. There's the self-pay option on the website. Super easy, super quick. You hop on, you log in, you self-pay, off you go, boom, it's done. And then we get told that it's all good to go. And then eventually we'll just invoice you for some club fees, but that'll come at a later stage. If you want us to still pay for you, we're happy to do that. We can hold your hand a little bit further and you just pay the money into our account and then we'll pay it across. But the self-pay option is easiest, so I would recommend that. And then the other thing I wanted to remind you of, which Gabrielle reminded us of, because I was a little bit clueless, obviously I'm not reading my emails very well. We have the Toastmaster magazine that comes out every month. I'm sure you're all getting it. Please just check if it goes into your spam. I had a look at it recently and it's really quite interesting because it shares, there was a little article about table topics, there's articles about speaking. So it's quite a nice informative way to keep you in the loop of what's happening within the whole umbrella of Toastmasters, which is great. Then the very next meeting we have is the 3rd of September. The theme is Oh dear, that's over here. The theme is anything is possible. It is going to be here at the Cullinan, and it's our birthday celebration. So the club will be turning 8 this year. I had to quickly look on Instagram. We are turning 8 this year. So on the 3rd of September, we'll have a normal meeting like tonight, but we'll just have a little bit of extra celebration in it so that we can celebrate our club turning 8. So please all be there. Please all sign up for roles. We're looking for all the roles. Yeah. Oh, we're going to do a poll. Yes, we have a new exciting poll. We're going to have so many polls. Lawrence also said that's a poll. So we have so many polls, so we'll send it out and you can sign up for any role that you like. You can sign up for more than one because then we'll just slot you in for future meetings. I'd like to quickly invite Sean. I know we're running over, but we do want to just complete the evening to please talk to us about, because we've gone from one meeting a month, we want to offer something else instead.
So for the 20th coming now, and this is for all members, but particularly with new members, we want to have engagement sessions where people actually understand Toastmasters better. And one of the things is about pathways, and then looking at your speeches. You know, what we see, some people do the speeches, but they haven't done the analysis before and analysis after. So, you know, you've got those 5 questions they ask you before, and you grade yourself 1 to 5. Then what they do is that they grade themselves in the beginning, they don't grade themselves at the end, and we don't see that speech is being completed. So some people may be struggling just to get onto the website, onto Pathways. So on the 20th, we'll do our first session where it will be replacing the online meetings we would have had, which would just be allow people to be able to just interact with us about anything. And you can bring any technical issue or problem you're having into that session, and we'll either do it then or we'll do that at a future session. So the 20th, earmark that for the first one. It's Pathways and Basecamp, you know, just going about the website, just getting you to understand how you navigate around to get your speeches done. Oh, it's going to be, thank you. It's going to be at Hudson Street. It's number 30. The Hudsons. It's in the building called the Hudsons. It's in Hudson Street, and we will send out, that will come on the website, on our WhatsApp. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. So for those older members, not old members, older members, we used to have our meetings at the Hudson. It's Gabrielle's husband's office, and it's a lovely, small, intimate little space. So it's a nice sort of, you know.
Oh, sorry, one more thing. When you come, bring your computer.
Oh yeah, bring your computer. And we all sit together and we learn together and we figure it out all together. Yes, we will have it online as well. Definitely.
That's another thing of, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
But Rennie B theme for this year for Toastmasters and for the area, the club, district, the province, whatever, is care. And she has given us an amazing talk about caring for our clubs, for our members. And so when we letting go now of meeting online as a club it's the second time in the month, this is our commitment to caring for our members, that we have more interaction face to face. And that is the start for that. And the other one is the online teaching. We will say so that's our commitment to care.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Our always caring VPN. I want to just check in with our beautiful guests, online and in person. I'm going to start with our online people. Lindy, how was the meeting for you? Are you still with us? I see her, it just doesn't have a picture up, but maybe she'll come back. Nino, how are you? How was the meeting for you?
Did you say Nina?
No, not Nina, sorry. Gino, Nino.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, Nina. Love you too. How was the
I
meeting?
really enjoyed the session, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Okay, great. We'll see you on the 3rd of September.
Celebrate the birthday with you.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for sharing. Lindy, are you there? Lindy has left the building. And Gift, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really are so privileged to have you with us. you like to share what your takeaway is for the evening? Maybe later. I saw. Okay, I'm going to start with our in-person. Anna, how was the meeting for you? What is your takeaway?
I actually found it very interesting. I didn't expect anything like this. So everyone did. All the spirits.
So we'll see you again. Okay, yay! Thank you so much. Isha, what is your takeaway from tonight?
You know, it's not a lot to but perhaps Verity's structure around giving feedback was quite insightful because I've often wondered how people give very good found that just listening and making notes and pay attention. So I think the structure was quite helpful, and I think it's something for various contexts as well. So that's quite nice.
Right, thank you so much for sharing, and we'll hopefully see you for our birthday celebration too. Okay, no pressure. And Granny B, what is your takeaway from this evening? I think they can't really hear us online. I just want
I can project my voice, so don't worry. I've been at it for a few years, so. I met this club when I became club growth director 3 years ago, and I ventured down to Cape Town. And we were in a small little reception area in the office where you are being invited to. And there was a lot of activity, and some of the same faces are still here. And here we are today. I absolutely adore what has taken place in these 3 years. When we train clubs, when we train club officers, and we want to train them to create a quality club in which our members can excel and grow and gain that which they are paying their membership fees for, everything that we train and teach them was happening here tonight. And that's why we had an excellent event. And I congratulate the club officers of this club for all the effort that they put in and really creating a quality, caring club. And if it is a caring club, I know it's going to be a winning club. So I want to already congratulate you on being president distinguished at the end of this Toastmasters year. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't forget the mic because my voice can carry you. Can you hear me online? Can you give me a thumbs up that you can hear me? Okay, fabulous. Just check. I want you to hear from the guests. Thank you. It's really such an honor to have you say those really kind words. It means so much as being the double zero. It's a 774. 00. Double zero. 0074. Okay. Thank you very much. Naomi, it's been so nice to have you. Would you like to share your takeaways from this evening?
Let's see if I can project my voice like Granny.
Yeah, you got it.
I got this. It was a pleasure meeting you all. I've always wanted to. I know some of you have received my messages and you're wondering, Justine, you've received my message and you're wondering, who is this Lame? Where is he reaching us from? So it was a good time. It was a pleasure coming here to meet all of you. I'm based in Botswana, so I'll definitely come here as possible as I can. Granny B will make it, we'll find a way to make it work. But it was an amazing meeting. There was so much to take away, so much to learn. And definitely this is a quality club. That's what I was telling Justine. And they've been trying to convince her to take up a leadership role. I hope I managed. And I enjoyed my conversation with Eugene. He's definitely ready for his next speech. So it was a good time being here. I can see Gift is there. Yeah, your area director. So I'm looking forward to learning with you, growing with you, and having fun with you.
Shifa, how is the feedback back with us after such a long time? In person.
Oh, it's really been so welcoming. Sorry, can you guys hear me online?
Can you hear
Can
Shifa?
then-
Thumbs up.
Maybe I'll just stand up then. Yes, I'll do just that. Yes, no, thank you very much for the lovely warm welcome. Thank you, Sean, for roping me in and giving me a role. Thank you for accepting me as your evaluator for this evening. I've had a lovely time, as always. The eats were great, the company was wonderful, and I'm so glad I could introduce Toastmasters to my dear friend Rainbow. We've been friends since school. So, yes, it is a bit difficult for me to continue my Toastmaster journey with ToastEd because the time difference is just too great for me to participate actively. But I do still come in, as you know, I do come in and I can join for about an hour. And, you know, just in terms of switching things around, it would be great if maybe one evening you could do the impromptu speeches, start the impromptu speech, and then, because I always tend to get the prepared speeches and then I have to check because it's, it's bedtime for me. But maybe if you can just do a little switch and I can join in on the impromptu speeches as a guest.
Let us know which events you would like to attend or which you can attend, and maybe we can do it on the switch. Thank you. That's lovely to see you. And Rahima, what is your takeaway? I know you were dragged along. What is your takeaway from this evening?
I didn't know what Toastmasters is about. Vaguely knew, and it was very interesting, and I learned quite a lot. It was interesting listening to all the different people and how they present, and to see my friend in action.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Friday.
Just in case. Little spaceship type thing. Thank you so much. It's lovely to hear from all our guests in person. And Gift, hello and welcome. It's so nice to see you. Would you like to share with us your takeaway from this evening?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's my first time visiting ToastEd, but I've been enlightened. With this moment, I would like to challenge you all, I understand, that you set new goals in this financial year, going to the end of our financial year, 30th of June, 2025. Challenge yourself that we're gonna explore new challenges, build new clubs, invite new members, and make sure that we support them as much as we can. We have our president today. We have our divisional director. All the challenges that you might be facing on achieving your primary goals, you can deliberate them to our leadership. But most importantly, if you are conscious about it, it's gonna be possible. It is not just about communication. Leadership is not an achievement. Leadership is a calling. Feel it in your heart. Understand that you are working with people from different dynamics and that have been chosen to lead. You've got to be able to deliberate and communicate to people and articulate yourself in the best possible way. So give yourself a chance, write your personal goals, write the club goals, and make sure that every day of your life. You make an effort to move to your daily goals, leading to our financial goals at the year end and forever as we're living. We all need you. We all need you guys, and we all appreciate you. Thank you very much for the experience that we had tonight. And I'm looking forward to be visiting you guys more often, either visual or personally. It will depend on the time of the year, but today I had a marvelous experience of how the other clubs are being run, and with us together, we're gonna grow and become a better nation together. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gift. That was really lovely to hear from you. And I think we can all say that we will take that on 100%. Thank you very much. And now for the time that everyone has been waiting for. It's not more table topics, it's awards. Sally, are you good over there? Our sharing screen lady. And you have to be photographer too. I'm so sorry. It's so many roles. Yeah, thank you. So the first, yeah, you can flip it to the first one. The first one is going to be table topics. Yeah. Well done. And then the next award is Best Evaluator. And then, final award of the evening is Best Speaker. And that goes to... And then I have one more little award I would like to hand out. And this award goes to our VPE, Sean, because at one point for this meeting, we had 7 speakers. And I think 3 of those speakers were his mentees. And he was speaking on the committee WhatsApp group saying, "My brownie points, where are they? Because all my mentees are speaking, even though they dropped off. Yeah, your brownie points.
Literal brownies.
Stop sharing. Okay, and again to our district director, our division director, and our area director, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It really has been such a privilege and an honor. And we hope to see you very soon. Not just this time next year when you're going off to training again. Let's do it a little bit sooner. In our journey in finding this balance with our digital life that we lead, I think it's not just about disconnecting from technology, because we know we need technology to some degree, but it's about connecting more with our real lives, about being more present. Like I mentioned in the beginning, when you're busy sharing a story with someone and someone whips up their phone, that's not being present. So putting the phones away, being present and being mindful about the connections that you are making. I think it's about setting boundaries around all of that. So it's being present in the moment. It's cherishing your offline relationships. And it's about making time for ourselves. And making time for ourselves doesn't mean scrolling on Instagram. Finding different things that you can spend your time doing. So after this evening, I encourage you to think as digital wellness as a little gentle reminder to pause, to breathe, and to think, to prioritize what really truly matters to you. So to pause, to breathe, to prioritize what truly matters to you. Thank you all for a lovely evening. We'll see you on the 20th for our educational, and then the 3rd of September for our birthday. Thank you, everyone. Before you run away, please stay, please